So knowing when a member is about to quit, and one of the first lines I have, there's no when members are likely to quit. And I think even with what retention management and other companies like his do, is they actually try to be more proactive. It's not just knowing when a member is going to quit, but where does it lead up to? And I think one of the things that we could see right away is through attendance patterns, is when people's attendance patterns start dropping off, that's when they're likely to quit. And they're going to start breaking that habit. And so we've got to figure out ways to be more proactive and taking advantage of that. But I could do other things to see when members are likely to quit. We have other pieces of data in there, like we know their age, we know their income bracket, and all these kind of things. We know these socioeconomic little variables about people, and we can look at, even drill a little bit further into that. We know that attendance is the primary reason why people are going to quit coming in. If you're not coming in, you're not going to get results. You're like, I haven't been a member of this club for 3 months. I haven't come in there. It's cost me, $150. I'm out of here. I'm not going to keep spending that. And we hate that as club owners because we got all this awesome equipment, all these awesome facilities, all these awesome people, and they're not taking advantage of it. And so we want to be more proactive. We could see who is most likely to quit when they quit working out. Like if I got somebody, like I'm 41 years old, if I quit working out, I'm actually less likely to quit than somebody who's 25 years old, because I've got a wife who goes there. My kids take karate at the Y, is where I work out. And so if I'm not working out because I'm traveling around and doing my thing, a club owner doesn't have to worry about me if they understood my data, my who I am, my socioeconomic. Okay, well, look, we don't have to worry about Kyle. He's a 40-something guy married with kids. They all work out here. If that guy didn't work out for a year, he's probably going to keep paying his dues. But if I got somebody who's single, who's 25 to 30 years old, who's working out, or somebody who's 30 to 40, and they're a newlywedish kind of person, or one little kid, they're at high risk of quitting, we have found, because they're going to be a lot more impacted quickly. They're going to be more cognizant of their bottom line and of their time, and they're going to be a big time issues with them. And so being able to look at that data in terms of not only their age, their income, where they live, where they're at in their life, their season, are they married? Do you have kids? Great questions to ask people, because you'll start to key in very quickly on whether or not somebody is going to be a long-term member or a short-term member. And you'll be able to actually take these pieces of data and plot them over time and say, you know what, I can go out to a fair and a show and sign up 50 people between the age of 20 and 30, but those people are a lot higher chance of quitting than if somebody signs up between the age of 50 and 60. So do I go spend my time at a show or a trade show or an event or marketing pieces that are going to target the older clients in my particular area or the younger ones? Now, you've got to look at that data per area, because it changes a little bit per area, and that's why we talk a little bit about understanding your data and your member. And I'm kind of throwing out some just generalities here. If I live in more of a beach community and it's sunny all the time, people are going to work out more because they're going to want to walk around not wearing very many clothes, okay? And so they're going to want to make sure they look good. If you live up north, people aren't going to care so much because they're going to be wearing clothes all the time, so nobody's going to know I got 8 pounds to lose, unless I tell them. All right, I told you. Now I'm embarrassed. A couple of things we could do, not just about understanding our members, but also decreasing costs of operation. And I got on here, know your market. And that talks a little bit about what we were just discussing, but let's talk about here in terms of understanding your staff to attendance ratio. We had many club owners, until we taught them how to do this, that would staff their club for a period of time, and they would keep it equally staffed all day long, and they wouldn't fluctuate their staff based upon the attendance patterns of their members. And so when they found out when attendance was spiking on particular days of the week, they actually made sure that they were overstaffed to handle those spikes, to be able to give the people the same amount of customer experience that they would want them to have. And then when the club was slow, cutting back on staff. And we had clubs save thousands of dollars a year just by regulating their staff hours to accommodate when people were actually in the club. And you could even pinpoint on specific days, like New Year's Day or 4th of July. I had a club owner that always closed on 4th of July. Now we know that 24-hour access gyms are becoming more and more the status quo in the industry. We see them all over the place with Anytime and Snap and a few others. And this guy, he added 24-hour access to his club. And he said, wow, I came in after 4th of July weekend. I noticed that 31 people came in and worked at my club in the morning. And he had one of these small, little 2,000 square foot gyms. And he had 31 people come and work in his club on 4th of July. And same thing with the person on New Year's Eve, had a lot of people coming and working out on New Year's Eve. And it was the people that were my age who didn't care about going out there and celebrating New Year's Eve. They just wanted to go work out. I don't need to wait till tomorrow. I'm not going to go out anyway. My neck hurts. My knee hurts. I'm not going to stay up late. And so those people go actually work out on New Year's Eve. And so they started like, wow, maybe we need to have somebody there. And so they actually were able to identify a market. That was one of the cool things that came out of the door access trend that we're seeing out there, is people could start seeing, when do people really want to work out? Okay, not necessarily when do we think they ought to work out, but I suggest that you take a look at your data and find out when people are there so that you can give the people the customer service and that they desire, but throttle back on staff hours when they're not. Now, if you're the manager of a club, you might go, well, gee, I don't want to cut back on my hours, but I can guarantee you in this recession and as cost conscious as people are getting, you'll be the hero if you could say, you know, look, I think we could save 10% of our employment costs here if we adjust our staff here, and we could actually add somebody to the busier times to give people the customer service experience. And that would be a really awesome thing that you could do for your facility. Streamline the advertising budget. Know the demographics of your members and geographically where they are. I'll tell you a little story about this, because you know, if you take your members and you get one of these mapping programs and you plot where they live, okay, you'll notice, unless you're in like a downtown club where people are working in their lunch hour, but if it's more around where the neighborhoods are, you'll notice that most of the people live within 2.5 miles of your facility. And you could actually see the neighborhoods that they live in. And you could target those specific areas. You know, if you go and get a new roof put on your house, one of the things that you're going to see is that the very first thing is a sign gets put in the yard. You know, ABC Roofing Company just put a roof on this house because they know they're going to get a lot of business from just having that sign in their house. But if you've got people in that neighborhood that you have several people that are working out in your facility, you know, come join your neighbors. You know, did 10 people in your neighborhood work at the gym? Blah blah blah. Come join the community, and you can start getting more specific types of marketing. I actually opened up a club. I was opening up when I was like 27 years old. I opened up 2 clubs within 2 weeks of each other. And we signed up like 75 members on one day and 103 on one day. And I lost my voice, and my wife's back got out, and we had to hire somebody to come. I had a manager walk out the door. And I was just like, you know what, is life going to be like this? And it turns out it is. It's always like that. And so I had to go find a manager, and I thought, you know, I don't have time to run a newspaper ad. I don't have time to put out signs. I don't have time to do anything. So what I did is I went and looked through my members. And this is before I actually had a computer program. This is like 1997. I went and looked through all my members, and I saw where they're living, and I walked to the neighborhood where most of my members were coming from, and I started knocking on doors. I didn't have time to go. I had to have somebody hired and trained within like 2 days. The first door I knocked on, this guy, absolutely 100% true story, I will never lie to you guys, this guy drives in his front yard, driving an F-250 white dually Ford pickup truck. He gets out of the car, the guy's easily 6'6", 6'8", weighs about 300 plus pounds, and big Hispanic guy comes out. What can I do for you? What do you want? I said, my name is Kyle, and I own the gym that just opened up right across the street over there. And I really need their help. I'm looking for somebody to help me manage the club. Do you know of anybody who might help? He's like, oh man, my wife and I were just praying on this. Come on in. She wants to talk to you. I hired that woman. She was the best manager I ever hired. And I got more members because she knew so many people in the neighborhood where I was hired, where most of my members were coming from. And it taught me a very important lesson. Not only did I take advantage of doing the marketing around 2 miles of my club, but then I thought, you know what? I'm going to even get more specific about that. And every time I signed up a new person in a brand new neighborhood, I'd start doing mailers to those neighborhoods telling people, hey, you just had a new neighbor join the club. Come and be a part of the community. And so I started advertising my club as a community event. And one of the things that Curves did when they first came out is they advertised, I guess they still do it now, they were a 30-minute fitness center. You know, it's the hour-and-a-half workout in just 30 minutes, okay, because you could do cardio and strength all at the same time. And then I said, you know, and I tell members, I said, yeah, it's the hour-and-a-half workout in 30 minutes, but I'm the only Curves that takes a 30-minute workout and turns it into an hour-and-a-half. People were like, well, why would you go and say that? And I said, because it's so much fun to stay here, people just end up hanging out. And so that's what happened. People would do their workout and then they would hang out. And it became this community, and people, we had this coffee station, people would drink coffee and hang out, and I couldn't get people to leave the club. And I loved that because I had achieved the goal that I wanted to do. It wasn't just a place to work out, but if I could create a relationship and an emotional connection and a community in my facility, then I kept the members longer. And we had some of the highest workout ratios of any of the curves that probably still in operation today, as many of those suckers have closed down. So understanding geographically, I think, is a huge thing because it's going to save you time. Also, back to that, I mean, it saves you money. Let's say, for instance, I like doing mailings and door hangers, you know, because your website's a big deal, but and people will find you through your website. But I'm still all about the relationship thing. I mean, I'll go knock on doors to get members because I want to go meet them. Say, hey, you know, I'm the owner of the club over here, and I just want to come by and introduce you guys. You know, you may never join my gym, but you know what? We do these services over here. If you ever have a question about nutrition or just working out, or you got a hurt knee, you know, we might have an exercise that help you for that. And I just wanted to say hi and let you know that that's what we do. And I would create, people would know me around the area, and they may not even come join over there, but if I had women's only gyms, I'd have men that would refer women to my women's only gym because they knew that I was the expert in the area and I was willing to go out and do that. So I didn't actually look at my time as how much dollars am I going to get for my time out there. I was about establishing a community and relationship and knowing the specific geographic areas where the members were coming from enabled me to do that. Now, increase advertising effectiveness. Design ads that speak to your prospects. You know, I talked a little bit about this earlier. If you're finding that you're attracting members that are 20 to 30 years old, but your 20 to 30-year-olds are the ones that are most likely to quit, you may want to start trying to focus on the older population that is, you know, and it's not that the 20, 30-year-olds don't know they need to take care of themselves. Obviously they do. They'll join the club, but they're just not as stable. You know, they're in a season of their lives where things are more turbulent. And so design an ad that speaks to the market that you want to attract. And so I love looking at pieces of advertising and how they talk to people. And I love using pictures and faces of people. So not only do you want to communicate results, but consider creating an advertisement that speaks to the type of community that you want to create. And so not just a person, but a picture of 3 people in the demographic that you're going for, sitting around talking in front of the club. You know, or, you know, hey, our members say we have the best coffee. You know, or, you know, make new friendships at here, and then you have pictures of the people that you're trying to attract to the club because you start getting that community effect. And so speaking to the member that you want to get. Now, you can't always do that because if you are in a college town, you know, you're going to have students. Okay, so you're going to have to keep going for students. And so you may want to go ahead and start trying to create things around the community aspect of being a student. You know, about meeting like-minded people. People go to this college because they like to meet like-minded people. Well, pick it up a notch and meet the people that are like you that like to work out, and then have a picture of 4 kids, you know, 4 college kids. She's a kid. She's Tom's assistant, Amanda. See, I know her name too. That's freaky. My brain cured itself.